Hey there, it's Nathalie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. My friend brought me these really cool retro 1970s, early 80s curtains, and they did have a little ruffle up here, but I disassembled them. She also brought me a handful of ball fringe. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I transformed these curtains into a boho, fun, retro curtains. Don't go away. These are the open weave retro vintage 1970s curtains that my friend Lori brought to me. And what her idea is, and this is the really cool ball fringe that she brought. She got that from Hobby Lobby. And so her idea is to put, the look is going to be this to come down like that, and this ball fringe on the edge of that. But we have a couple of little things that we need to do. One is to measure the curtain from the top of the rod, from like right here, because I'm going to have to take this apart. I'm going to measure from the top to the bottom length of the curtain, and I'm not going to mess with the hem thing at all, but since I'm going to turn this and make a different kind of rod pocket that doesn't have this ruffle up here, I want to make sure, I'm going to measure and make sure how long my finished length needs to be. It looks like the cat has chewed on that. Look, it starts at 3 inches. Thank you. Well, kitty, no. Look. Cat. All right. Let's go from the other end. Well, that one's the same way. So let's get a different tape measure. Okay. So this one has, the cat hasn't got a hold of this one. So from the top here, my finished length is going to be 34.5. So my next step is to take this stitching out, both rows of this stitching out, and then I'm going to use my seam ripper. I might show you a little step of that, but you probably don't need to see that. But just in case you do, yeah, I'll show you a little bit of that. I took the curtain off of the curtain rod, and now I'm going to get rid of these stitches. And so the easiest way right in here, because trying to find the stitches on the top of this is like, where the heck? So this is going to be my easiest place to start this. So I'm just going to be careful here. And this is stitched in red, so that's going to be easy to see. And I'll get rid of a couple of them and then get that started both here and here. This looks like this has been stitched by hand repair. These are vintage, of course. Took a little bit, but I got all the stitches removed, and it's kind of like, this is what it looks like on the inside. So I have to be careful with this. But anyway, so I've pressed it, and I am going to serge my edge up here to see if I can catch most of this. This was just turned under and then, you know, turned down like that. And so we're going to be turning this back the other direction, this way. And so I want to do a little bit of finish on that edge before I put that trim on. The edge is clean, serged and clean, and I'm trying to find the end. Oh, I didn't say this, and you need to know this. When you measure the length that needs to be, you might want to write it down someplace. Especially when you get to be my age, you might want to write it down someplace, because I'm going to have to go back and watch the video to remember what I was doing. Anyway, all right, it's all pinned on this one section, and so I'm going to need to cut it right there. See that little thing right there? But before I cut that, I'm going to go ahead and put some tape over that like that. And I'm going to use these scissors. These are sharp, but they're not my best sewing machine fabric scissors, but they're nice and sharp. And I got these, a 2 pair of these for $3.97. They were under $4, $2.97. 2 of them at Walmart, and they are good and sharp. Look at that. Anyway, so that'll keep that secure. Let me clip that little piece off. To secure this little end right here, which would have been where I cut this in half like that, I'm going to do a little zigzag. See if I can hold my mouth right to get it to hold on to it. Alright, I have that turned under like that rather than just folding it, and I already know it's a little bit thick for it to move real easily. It can handle it, but it just doesn't pull to start off with. Alright, I want to make sure that I keep my white trim and my yellow just a little bit under there, and I am coming in just a little bit with my stitch. Alright, I'm going to go the entire length, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to stitch along this little edge right here. This is going to be my fold line. This is going to be my stitch line. So I'm going to scoot down a 1/2 inch. It's going to actually be 2 inches above the top of this braid. And I want to alternate these so that the pom-poms will be like over the top of this thread. So there'll be a pom-pom here on the bottom, and then it'll make almost like a little zigzag. I think it'll be cuter that way. So I'm going to put a pin, just so I know, at 2 inches here. And then I have also zigzagged right in this little area. I've already tested this to see where it's going to be. I said that I had tested it to see where it would be. That's where I'm going to cut it. That's what the deal is. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that on the other side of the zigzag. And then I'm going to get rid of this little pom-pom. I'm going to leave me some extra thread and I'll trim it later. Alright, so this is going to turn under. And that little pom-pom will be right there. Alright, and so then I'm going to go 2 inches above this all the way across. So I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to turn the camera off. So that's my 2 inch mark. Make sure that my little pom-poms, now remember that they slide on this thing. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do all the rest of the way across, and then we'll go to the sewing machine. So there's a couple of things I'm doing. One is to make sure that my pom-poms are diagonal to that, and the other is to every once in a while check and make sure that I am 2 inches from the top of this to the top of this. These curtains are vintage, and they have been washed a couple of times, and so you can see, let me see, get you on a straight line here, that it kind of does this little wavy thing, but I'm still going to measure from the bottom up 34.5 inches, and then I'll do my turn. But I'm going to just use my tape measure or a yardstick, but I'm going to just grab my tape measure. .34.5. That's going to be my fold line, and I'm going to do that all, mark this all the way across, pin this all the way across, and then I'll fold it. And we'll go back to the sewing machine and stitch about a 1/2 inch above this piece of trim right here. So just kind of a recap. I stitched this one on the edge, just like that, 2 places. And then this one was 2 inches up. From here to here is 2 inches, so it's also stitched twice. Then the fold is from here, it's 2.5, and then I'm stitching at 2 inches. And so this is kind of flexible, so it's a little, maybe a little not exactly precise. This is going to make the rod pocket. So thank you. This is how they turned out. Yay! Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share me with your friends, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now.